Hey, Stephen Young here doing the junkyard crawl at Burniston Auto Wrecking in Burniston, Massachusetts, with a relic from the days before the cab-forward van. Now, we all know that 1960 was the year the core van arrived with an engine in the back and the driver over the front tires. But before that, and the Econoline and the A100 and the Chevy van that followed, well, panel vans like this were how most small businesses moved their stuff around. Now, this is what we call a second series, also known as the blue chip design GMC truck from 1955 through 59. Now 58 and 59 had quad headlights. The 55, 6, and 7 had single headlights up front, but something they also had was this. These are called Dagmars on both sides. Now, GM was very stylish, and the styling of the Cadillac, Eldorado, and Coupe de Ville trickled all the way down, or up, if you will, to the panel van. Now, the Dagmars were named after an actress by the name of Virginia Lewis, who was also known as Dagmar, and she co-starred with people like Frank Sinatra, Milton Berle. She was kind of a celebrity in the day, but she also was kind of well endowed, if you know what I'm trying to say. And so these Dagmars were a reference to her top-heavy nature. But again, they were something seen on Cadillacs and on GMC panel vans and Chevrolet vans like this too. Now this one here is powered by, oh look at this, okay, a 6-cylinder engine. Now keep in mind that GMC and Chevrolet then as now are similar but not the same. You know, they say that GMC trucks are professional grade trucks, and so to differentiate, what GMC would do is be a little heavier frames, a little more spring leafs, and bigger engines. This is the GMC 270 cubic inch inline 6. Chevrolet would have a 235 cubic inch 6, and so this is basically a larger, similar but not the same engine. Now one thing we notice, we're going to take the valve cover, lift it off, and see the GMC logo right there. That's kind of cool. But underneath here is, there they are. Now this is an overhead valve type engine. The valves are in the head, but unlike the Chevy, which has canted valves, the valves actually go in at an angle on the Blue Flame 6. With these, they're actually straight up and down. So the GMC head is different from the Chevy head in the day. Now this is a single carburetor, a 1 barrel, and this plastic looking thing here is a phenolic spacer, which is designed to isolate the carburetor from engine heat to prevent vapor lock in the fuel bowl. And, you know, the weirdness continues over on the passenger side down low. That weird sort of canister with the pipe coming down, that's the road draft tube and oil baffle. Way back in the days before positive crankcase ventilation systems, you know, PCV, the road draft tube simply allowed crankcase odors and fumes to just blow out underneath the car. So there you have it there. Now, a V8 was optional. And if this was a Chevrolet, there'd be a 283 V8 and of course the 235 6. Well, to make the GMC different from Chevrolet, not only did they have a 276 banger, but this would have had a Pontiac 336. That would have been the optional engine, sourced again from Pontiac. So GMC and Chevy, not the same. But up front we have the leaf spring straight axle found on all of these things. And take it to 1960, the redesign, you'd see torsion bars on these things, believe it or not. But again, 6 lugs here. This is going to be a half-tonner. Kind of cool to see the original hubcap right here with the GMC logo in it, right there. And this would snap onto the 16.5-inch wheel, and in pretty good shape, really. You know, it's interesting. Now these are steel. You know, a lot of passenger cars, hubcaps are made of stainless steel. They wouldn't rust ever. But for trucks, you know, cost was the objective, and so steel hubcaps were the rule for trucks. Now this, of course, does have drum brakes. No disc brakes on Chevy pickup trucks till 1967 when they became an option. And you know, a pretty interesting piece. Now, what I love about two-door panels like this is the fact that they make really cool hot rods. You know, this is a little big. It's a body-on-frame. It's not like an Impala or a Biscayne station wagon. It's a bigger brother to those things. But again, these are kind of neat. You know, custom vans and customizers love these things. Let's take a look in the back. Okay, long before the days of the lift gate, this has the barn door arrangement. Let's take a peek inside. Yeah, very austere. Check out the wooden cargo floor with the steel runners. But again, this is wood right here, probably oak. Well, no, this is plywood. It's not kind of coming apart, but again, original equipment right here. And pickup trucks too. Keep in mind that Chevy and GMC pickup trucks had the option of wooden cargo beds as well. Inside, the dressing here is pretty austere. Cardboard inside here, you know, and wooden racks right there. These are factory available items. You just, you know, would help you to keep the crates, the piles of crates or whatever you load into this thing, keep them from toppling around. And, you know, Very utilitarian, but very cool. The original paint on this, I think, was probably green on the outside with an industrial tan on the inside, almost like a, the machinist suit. Very cool, very workmanlike, very blue collar. I like this thing. And again, this is not a Suburban. Keep in mind the Chevrolet and GMC Suburbans were similar, but they had windows and had seats. Suburbans were for moving people. Panel vans were for moving cargo. Let's open the door here. Oh yeah, this one has a manual transmission, probably a 3-speed. The gauges are mechanical. The only idiot light there is for the generator, and keep in mind the generator was standard equipment until you get into the 1963 model year when the alternator would replace that. This was a radio delete. We can see sort of on the lower part of the dash, there's sort of a stain where there's a horizontal thing with 2 slots. That probably was where the radio delete plate covered up the radio hole. The heater on, off, low, high, very cool, very austere. And speaking of austere, that passenger side bucket seat, that's a classic Fleet seat. We can see it truly is a steel bucket. The upright in the back kind of looks like a bomber seat. Of course, that's factory stuff. And keep in mind that the passenger seat was an option on these things in 1958. These were, again, built to a price, and you paid for everything. This also has vacuum windshield wipers, and I'm surprised it has a heater. But then again, this is Massachusetts, where if this thing was used in the wintertime, you can bet that a heater would be crucial. But you got to love the wraparound windshield seen in 1955, 6, 7, 8, and 9 right here. The only downside to the wraparound windshield is what they call the dog leg. This thing right here, in order to accommodate the windshield, the A-pillar, instead of doing that, protrudes into the inside of the vehicle, which in some cases makes it a little harder to get in and out of. But it's also a bit awkward, but it's the price that GM paid to get that sleek wraparound windshield, which would also be used on the replacement for these trucks until 1964, I think it was. But again, GMC, similar to Chevrolet, but not the same. And the junkyard is also a classroom. We see here a classic and shocking case of oxidation or rust. Look at this, the rear view mirror, once circular, chrome, shiny, beautiful. The glass is gone, but look at this, how the housing is actually going away, paper thin, and just basically on its very last legs, right here in the junkyard. The word junkyard, by the way, I think is not the right word. This is more like a museum. It really is. These cars deserve to stay here forever. A lot of folks say, oh, those are an eyesore, get rid of them. It's a sad thing, because when they're gone, they're really gone. And you got to thank the people here at Bernison Auto Wrecking for having the vision to just let these things stay here. And of course, these are for sale. If you want to bang on their door, Bernison Auto Wrecking, you can buy anything you see here. Not that I'm trying to make you do that, but with that said, it's nice that these things are here for us to all enjoy. And there's a lot more to come here on the Steve Maggs YouTube channel, so to see more, well, just subscribe.